everybody, and welcome to the Grand Prix here of San Marino for Moto2 and this wonderful race ahead of us. Fingers crossed we're going to be in for a very exciting Grand Prix. 22 laps ahead of us here at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli. Here's the starting grid then with a minute to go. Cestino Vietti is on pole position. Pedro Costa followed then by Manuel Gonzalez on the front row. Aaron Canet ahead of Matteo Panini as well. Alongside him is Alonso Lopez. Joe Roberts is 7th. Sam Lowe starts 8th alongside his teammate Tony Arbolino starting in 9th position. Taking up residency further down, 10th for Philip Salek. Somkat Chantra starts 11th. Zonta van der Goldberg starts in 12th. Ayagura starts in 13th. Jake Dixon, last week's winner, of course, down in 14th position. Bo Ben Schneider 15th. Marcos Ramirez 16th. Barry Bolter 17th. Jeremy Arcoba goes in 18th position. 19th for Aizan Guevara. Senna Igus as well in 20th. Fermin Ayagura 21st. Sergio Garcia 22nd, Alberto Surda 23rd, Lucas Tulovic is in 24th, Rory Skinner 25th, 26th, Dennis Foggia, who has been given an irresponsible riding during practice 2 and a 3-place grid penalty. 27th for Kota Nozain as well, Borja Gomez 28th alongside Sean Dylan Kelly and Tiger Hajar at the back. We're on the formation up then here at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli. Very interesting circuit. Let's get the thoughts of our TNT broadcaster partners as well.
Air temperatures at Michael Laverty, who's hot-footed it from the grid right now to be alongside me. Air temperature up to 30 as well. Hottest it's been all weekend. How's that going to affect the outcome of this race?
Obviously, the track temperature continuing to increase. The air temperature is more reflective of the physical effort the riders have to go through. They sweat a little more. The temperature increase in the engine and all the metal parts. You do feel it. It's a long way around here in 22 laps on a physical racetrack. So I think the Dunlop tyres are handling the track condition really well. So not too much in a degradation scenario. So it is more about the rider conserving their energy and focusing on their pace for the run to the flag. We've seen a great battle the last few laps in Catalonia, and I think it could be more of the same today.
Tony Arbolino needs a good start, doesn't he? 9th on the grid for him, much better than 20th last time, but hasn't had better than 6th in the last 4 races. He needs something in front of his home fans.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for Tony. I thought we've seen some signs yesterday in Q1 and Q2, definitely making a little bit of progress, but has lost his way somewhat, and championship-wise, he's still there, only 22 points off, but now Jake only a further 22 behind Jake, so behind Tony, the pressure is increasing.
All set then for what's going to be a very interesting race. We'll bring you it all here as well. They're coming out of the last couple of corners towards the grid. Vietti on pole position as well. Can he take another golden opportunity? For Vietti, it is pole position number 5 of his career in Moto2. So there's a long way to see whether or not he'll get it changed around going forward, whether or not it's going to be a bigger push as well. Acosta going for the title lead and going for a race win is what he needs to do to keep it alive. So, 22 laps, around about 39-40 minutes is the projection for race 2 of the day here. Moto3 was a classic at the end of the race. What will Moto2 be? All eyes to the red lights when the start procedure is activated. 5 of them are on. Blast off in Misano. Good start for Vietti. Acosta's going to get a great launch as well. He goes across the inside of Manuel Gonzalez as they come down towards turn number 1. Good getaway towards the first corner. Pedro Acosta takes the lead. Trying to go on the outside. Vietti's means to drop down to 3rd position. Round the outside comes Manuel Gonzalez. Gonzalez takes over in 2nd position as they try and fight through down the back half of the track now once more. Good start from Pedro Acosta. He's mastered that. As Aaron Canet taking 4th position as action further back. Here goes Alonso Lopez coming through on the inside line as well. Gonzalez losing multiple positions on the start of this one as well. Lopez up then into 4th position. Gonzalez up into 5th as they come down towards the braking zone for turn number 8. Pedro Acosta leads the way, battles for 2nd. A little bit of a chop there. Can versus Vietti, and Lopez getting involved too, trying to come around the outside. Just a little bit of drama between them, exactly how they wanted it to be, exactly how they wanted to have the action in this race. They are getting it tenfold, and Jeremy Alcoba's dropped back to 30th. Now, has he had a crash? Can't see any yellow flags, I can't see any riders down the background, but Jeremy Alcoba has gone down to 30th position. Joe Roberts has dropped from 7th all the way down to 11th on the start of his race as well. Barry Bolt is moving down, Garcia moving down, and yeah, Foggia and Nozane dropping down. Nozane down to 27th position and started this race. Well, he's back to where he started, so he made a getaway, causing Nozane, but then lost out on it. So, end of the first lap coming up. It is Pietro Acosta leading the way as we cross the line. 21 to go, no jump starts. According to race control, Acosta leading. Vietti, Cana, Lopez, and then we get Salak, Gonzalez, Lowe's, Albarino, Chantra, Joe Roberts inside the top 10. Passini's dropped down 6 places. Salak up 5 from where he started. Joe Roberts over on the side, and now we've got Sam Lowe's in a battle with Tony Albarino. Albarino, the championship contender, in 2nd position, up into P7, and Sam Lowe's has dropped down. Perfect at the start of this race. Let's see what TNT make of it.
The race, so as long as they work together, don't lose touch with the group in front, it should be okay.
Still Acosta leading from Vietti, but they've closed up at the front. You know, from listening to that Jake Dixon interview, Aaron Canet will be aggressive. We've seen that over the years. Got very tight in La Quercia and down into Tremonto again. Just going to concertina up, but Acosta out front, exactly the place he wanted to be in to control this race, control his pace. What has he learnt from Austria? What has he learnt about keeping those tyres in check for the latter stages?
He looks so good through curve 1. He just turns a little bit tighter than everyone else on a similar chassis, similar engine, similar electronics, tyres and suspension, but it's Celestino and his intimate knowledge with this circuit that allows him to go through that. They are getting through their full chat on a Moto2 bike, wide open, 100% throttle, so he's just able to use his body and hook it through the middle of the fastest corner on the MotoGP calendar.
Good start from everyone then as we come across the line, as Alcoba up back to 26th position now as well as they come across. So Pedro Acosta, 1:36.404, has the lead of the race, and he's at the fastest lap so far as they start trickling down. You can see it on your monitor up here in the comms box. Fastest ever race lap here was a 1:36.182, set in 2021 by Augusto Fernandez. He's now up in the Premier class, of course, in MotoGP. As Igo and Jake Dixon having a little bit of a battle coming into the swing of things as well. Still got to have the attack, still got to have the adrenaline rush to keep ahead as Pedro Acosta leads this race. And then it's a 26.440 for Vietti in 2nd position. So there's a slight change in the positioning of the orders as they swing through. Oh, yellow flag is in sector 2. Yellow flag sector 2. And, well, I can't see who's gone. No one's gone down as far as I know. So unless that's for debris, there's no reason for the... Oh, it's Senna Artigas. Senna Artigas has crashed out on the track. Rider okay. As Pedro Acosta versus Justina Vietti at the front, coming through turns 11, 12, 13. Yep, it is Artigas who's crashed out. Confirmation rider is okay on your lap times now as they keep through. Back up onto the accelerator. Vietti all out of shape there, trying to come into it. Chantra passes Passini as well. Who should drop down the order? Hello, Van der Gorberg. Zonta Van der Gorberg has crashed out. Van der Gorberg's crashed out, and so has Dennis Foggia. Foggia's gone down. Is that correct on my timing screen? No, it's not. Van der Gorberg, yeah, they've in a battle. That's it. They've in a battle together. Look, Zonta Van der Gorberg's dropped down the order. Dennis Foggia's 25th. They're in a battle together, and Foggia has been taken aback with Zonta Van der Gorberg. Wow. So Foggia's dropped back to 25th position. Van der Gorberg's dropped down to 26th position. So those two getting in a bit of a tiff-taff. As Acosta 3/10 ahead of Vietti. Now look at Tony Albarino trying to go on the inside lines. Turn 8, getting ahead of Philippe Salek. Lates on the brakes, turns in, gets on the power. Much nicer exit and controls the exit speed. And Acosta leads this race As they come through sector 2, it's a little bit different between the two times, but it's not too bad at the moment.
Degradation.
Yeah, the thing with Tony, you know that he's obviously had a little slump in form, but we're going to the flyaway races and he's so good in intermittent conditions and wet weather. If he has his base setting a bit better this weekend, carry that on into India, Japan. The championship's far from over. He's only 22 points behind, but having led over those early rounds is a little knock to your confidence. So he's pushed hard in these early laps, but he'll know what his front tyre can take. He'll know how the rear will handle the heat and the abrasion of this surface. So I imagine he's confident at the moment. He's going forward. He's going to chase on to the rear wheel of Manu Gonzalez, and he's thinking about Pedro Acosta right at the head of the race. He needs to get there if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive.
Yellow flag's out sector 4. Not sure what that's about now. Oh, and hang on a minute. Dennis Foggia has now crashed, as has Zon. Oh, they've both gone down. Well, that battle that's been brewing for the last couple of laps, they've now brought each other down. Foggia and Zonta van der Goldberg have now crashed. Rider 71 out 84. So they've well, that was inevitable. I'm sorry, but they were battling together massively throughout that first 2 laps, and now they've both crashed out. I'd love to know if it was as a result of any damage they had earlier on in the race. Because they turned 14 and turned 14, yeah, so they're both out together. Love to know if that's a contact between the two. Must have been contact between the two. I want to see a replay of that ASAP. But that has brought out the yellow flag in sector 4. So that's the last part of the track. Yeah, Dennis Foggia and Zonta van der Goldberg in the beginning of sector 4 have both stopped on the track according to those delta times. Here is Cristina Vietti leading ahead to Aaron Canet. Second and third places are theirs at the moment as they continue to power through. And they sweep it in. Yeah, Van der Goldberg and Dennis Foggia have both crashed at turn 14. Don't know if we're going to replay that as of yet. So far, interesting enough.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on himself. He is such a bolshy, confident rider.
This has been a good lap for Pedro Acosta. 10th every sector. Actually, Celestino good again in sector 3 through Carboni, but it's just straining at the leash almost. Pedro's put our 36.2 on the board.
Yeah, and that's 3/10 quicker than Acosta, and it's coming in all the slower parts of the racetrack for Acosta. Vietti in the fast part, yeah, he might have a little bit of an edge, but in these places where what we learned from Pedro Acosta, the way he rides, stumping on a rear brake or getting the bike sideways, getting it stopped to an apex and getting it out again, that's become his prowess.
Yeah, that was his ability in Moto3 to win the title. Last lap battles on a Moto3 bike, drifting it in on the rear brake, stopping it and parking it essentially, blocking the manoeuvres from behind. He's such a skill in the battle, but also on a Moto2 bike he's rode in a similar way, drifting it sideways. He's going to be an interesting prospect next year on Michelin tyres in MotoGP, but no doubt he'll adapt his technique to suit the front tyre as well.
No progress from Jake Dixon further down the order after victory last time. He's in 14th, was in a battle with Ayogura and lost out on that. He's got now to find a way through on Pizzini and Ben Snyder, who are ahead of him, but he's rounding out the chasing group. There you can see Arbolino in 6th place. Still Sam Lowe's not lost touch with him either, nor is Philip Salac. Then a gap back to Joe Roberts in 9th place. But this is fantastic as things stand for Pedro Acosta's title aspirations after seeing them cut back by Dixon's win last time, regaining the advantage. As things stand, it's still a long way to go, 16 laps when they cross the line.
Yeah, obviously we heard from Jake in the interview pre-race. He's confident of taking the fight to Pedro Acosta, and obviously big help to his championship last time out, taking the victory.
Looked like Vietti got away well, but then as they went through the gears, Acosta getting past him. Just watch Arbolino as Pizzini on the 34 tips into turn 2. Arbolino right on the outside. I think it was a bit of, you see Jake Dixon just at the top in the middle of the picture. Have to be really careful, don't you? I think the experience of Silverstone probably there just forces you to just be steady and try and make it through safely. Yeah, almost hold your breath.
Yeah, you've got to err on the side of caution when it funnels into such a tight first gear, second turn. The opportunity there is to get tangled up with the handlebar, hook and elbow, and all of a sudden you topple over and take the rider down on your outside. We've seen it so many times over the years, so yeah, unfortunately it hurt Jake on the early laps, and Jake, like Sam, is better once he gets into the race. He set his personal best lap last time around, but still down on 14th, so he's got work to do in this race.
It's not happened. You get these weekends, don't you? You have to take it on the chin and move on. Tony Arbolino's had 3 of those, and I love the fact that he seems to have regrouped here. He's not terrible at the end of races, Tony Arbolino. Something Manuel Gonzalez, who was so calm when he chatted to you on the grid, bearing in mind they're just about to put the helmets on for the start of the race, Michael. And yeah, it's something he needs to learn. And again, it's going to take time, isn't it?
He's a quality performer. I think, as Hodgie was saying, the surprise package of the season on a slightly, I don't want to say underfunded team, but one of the B teams, maybe not quite there in terms of the AOs or the Fantics or the Mark VDS squads. And I think he's outperforming what everyone expected. And I think he will convert it to a podium. But yeah, listening to him talk on the grid, he was calm. He knew what he could do. He knows what he needs to do, and he's chasing after the podium finish. At this stage, I would say it's not going to happen for him today unless there's a big sort of turnaround with tyre drop-off. At the moment, he's just struggling to match the pace of those podium contenders.
Yep, and ambient temperature now at 29 degrees as well. So closing in. Acosta now's put out 9/10 of a second to the chasing 2 of Vietti and Canat in second and third position. Canat and Lopez, the gap 1.651 seconds, so there's enough time between them as they come into the braking zone for turn number 8. So, Acosta leading this race. Tony Arbolino, second in the championship, is going to try and attack him as hard as he possibly can to try and fight through. So far, so no luck, as they'll desperately keep an eye on everything. They'll try their best, their mighty hardest to keep this one in, but it's just not going to work out. Here's Jake Dixon on the Indy Gas bike. He's running down in 14th position, the winner from the Catalan Grand Prix. I go up to 10th. Joe Roberts down into 11th position as they take it on. As Acosta... Oh, Canet's down! Canet's dropped it! Coming out of turn 13 and 14. Aaron Canet has dropped it on the floor for 3rd position. That's going to put Lopez Gonzalez and crucially Tony Arbolino up into position. Aaron Canet down at turn 14. He's on the deck and he's... Oh, can he get it going? Well, he was only dropped away from underneath him, so he turns in. The rear of the bike was loose. Front tips away from it on exit as well. As soon as he tries to put the power down, it was too much for the front. He's gone down and... Aaron Canet throws it away. Now, has he got going again? I'm looking at his sector times. He hasn't moved just yet, so I think the bike might be stalled. Let's listen. Turns it in, drops it, 0 miles an hour. Oh, the engine's still going. He's going to try and bump start it. He's walking with it now, but that's put the championship down to Acosta and Arbolino. Acosta 211 points as it stands. Arbolino is 36 points back. So a huge shift Acosta's way in the title. That was assured. With Arbolino, the pace he's making in this race might not be.
A stat that he does not want beside his name, but it's there and it's the reality. It could be a set and it could be him wanting to win more than he has the bike under him to do so. But when he was fighting with Jake Dixon last week, so aggressive, looked brilliant on the bike, but it just wasn't to be. It will happen. I've no doubt he will win a Moto2 race, and when he does, I think he could go on a run to win a few. So yeah, he just needs to unlock the door and take a step through it. It's
similar to what we've perhaps seen from Jake Dixon or Sam Lowes in the past, where they have had crashes sometimes that have frustrated, you know, fans and supporters watching on, but they've both managed to turn it around and have their success and have their wins. So we sincerely hope, oh, that was tight to the edge of the racetrack for Alonso Lopez, but we sincerely hope that it happens one day for Aaron Canet. It will not be today, though, here in the San Marino Grand Prix. And do you know what, Michael? Tony Arbolino, quicker than Gonzalez and Lopez on that last lap. Arbolino's riding a solid race here, and he's actually not far from the podium positions now. Yeah, impressive from Tony, but look at the lap times from the lead two, both setting the fastest laps. But Celestino, 2/10, or well, a 10th under the time of Pedro Acosta, so got the gap down to just under 7/10. And I do think there will be a shift in terms of tyre performance in this race, and we know what Celestino can do and has done in Austria already this year. We are not at the halfway point just yet. 12.5 laps still to go in this 22-lap Moto2 Grand Prix through La Quercia. It's Acosta with the edge over Vietti. They are running a pace nobody can match here. And Vietti's a bit like Pecco Bagnaia, in that hasn't really shown his hand. We mentioned those 8 laps that Acosta did, faster than Vietti, right up to qualifying. But you always feel, as they hit the limiter going through turn 11, you always feel that Vietti on race day then, knows where he can hit, and only in the race will we see his true potential.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great skill to have, to know what you can do over 22 laps, because you can manage your inputs, manage the load into the tyres. Everyone is on the softest rear and the soft front option as well.
It is great for Tony Arbolino's championship chances as he claws back. He's been given the information about Alonso Lopez, who he can see ahead of him. He's in third, Gonzalez between them, Arbolino in fifth, but quicker than the pair of them. Celestino Vietti, look at that in the third sector, the bottom of your screen, quarter of a second.
Yeah. But listening to Acosta's bike on the last lap, he was on the limiter quite a lot at turn 11, and the wind has changed, so perhaps a bit of a tailwind reaching the limiter as he goes onto the right edge of the tyre a little bit earlier than Celestino, so perhaps Celestino able to carry another 5-6 kilometres an hour through the middle of the turn. How
will that do in terms of tyres? If you're stronger in these faster corners to where Pedro Acosta is finding his time in the slower sectors.
It does work it a little bit. I've watched their trackside and they do spin a bit as they go through there. It does help the bike turn, but obviously the more you spin through there, the more temperature you generate and use a little bit of rubber to make the bike turn. So it does obviously have an impact, but if you're gentle around the rest of the racetrack, then it's a nice advantage to have.
A couple of movers further back. Sam Lowe's now past Philip Salac. He's not out of the podium battle, I don't think, yet. However much that might sound like a long shot, he's in the group with Arbolino, Gonzalez and Lopez now. So, and his pace is quicker than any of them at this moment, and he's got past Salac. Agura's got past his teammate Sonkiat Chantra too. Joe Roberts and Mattia Bazzini can see on track limits warnings. So is Alonso Lopez, and we've seen a couple of times, haven't we, as Celestino Vietti chips away at Pedro Acosta here. All of the podium positions are not settled in this race.
No, and actually watching from the onboard, it wasn't just Carboni, it was really the run through 12-13, but breaking into 14. He's able to use Pedro as a marker, sort of drifting down into the apex there, and you can see sectors 2 and 4, they belong to Pedro Acosta at this moment in the race.
I don't know what's happened to Rory Skinner, but he's pulled into the pits. He was battling with Tiger Hada, Alberto Sura, Jeremy Alcover, but unfortunately, after actually having made a decent start, he's just come down pit lane, and so we'll try and find out what has happened to the Scot. But unfortunately, there won't be any points for him today as Arbolino tries to find a way through on Manuel Gonzalez. Not an easy prospect, as we saw last time out in Barcelona. That was a big moment.
Arbolino lost it
through turn 6, and all that progress undone.
Yeah, front was completely buried. It was gone. Actually, lucky it came back there, because whenever they fold and push and understeer all the way through a fast corner like that, you maybe never get it back.
Past the halfway point, Michael.
Yep, 11 to go. Let's take a look at it once again from Tony Arbolino. Oh, just on the exit of turn 6, he hits the curb, and then the bike just sort of unsettles itself, and he nearly got it done. He nearly lost a couple of positions there, and crashed out of the race. But Costa leads by 0.6 of a second to Celestino Vietti. These two are going to go hammer and tongue towards the end of the race here as we take another replay. And this is Vietti in towards turn number 1 on the braking zone. Turns in. Does he have a little bit of a loose moment? Chain's a bit loose, but he looks perfectly okay. I don't know what we were looking at there. It was late to pick it up at the exit of turn 1, if that's what we're looking at, but so far all good to me.
He was so wide, right on the top of the curbs on the big serrations.
There we go.
Brakes in there, and the front just let go completely. I do think it's a little early in the race to say the fronts are starting to walk, but watching those two moments, Arbolino's was curbs brought on, but there with Celestino into turn 1,
with Vietti,
maybe just trying to ask a little bit too much from it at this stage.
They have gone with the softer option of those two tyres, so maybe, just maybe, they're warnings, aren't they, if nothing else. Vietti has not lost too much time though to Pedro Acosta. Gap between them was at half a second across the line, out to 0.7, but we've seen this kind of piece of elastic between them, which stretches out in these first couple of sectors. Again, nearly 0.2, but then it seems to ping back in as we get into sector 3.
Yeah, sectors 1 and 2 and 4 are all pretty much in favour of Pedro Acosta, but it is sector 3 where Celestino claws it back every single time around. I do think the sector 1
all good.
difference there was maybe Celestino a little bit more careful through turn 1 this time around.
Top of the picture, you'll have seen Tony Arbolino after losing that ground, after losing the front, that Sam Lowe's right on his rear.
Yeah, I was right. Rory Skinner's retired. Thought I saw someone off.
Not quite sure what happened there. We'll endeavour to find out for you. Here it is, Sam Lowe's on the rear wheel of his teammate.
So, Acosta leads with 10 to go.
Podium here, I think, Sam Lowe's. He's had good pace all weekend, hasn't he? Especially in these hotter conditions.
Yeah, we're seeing, obviously, up front, you can look, Alonso Lopez has got the mark beside his name, so it will be a track limits warning. It's not come up on our screen as yet, but Alonso, he normally has good late race pace as well, but these four are all little gaps between each of them, but they all have a shot at the podium here, from Alonso Lopez, Manuel Gonzalez, Tony Arbolino and Sam Lowe's, all in that shot, chasing the final step on the podium.
Down to Rio corner, further back there's Ayogura. He is in a good battle with Philip Salach. He's finally got through on him after a little bit of yo-yoing, and his teammate Chantra trying to come through too. They are making progress, and again it's those riders good on tyres, your Aguras, your Lowe's in the latter stages, starting to move forward. As others, as Chantra does come through, others like
Chantra on the
Lopez,
inside of Salach
who's
goes
not
through.
always been the best at the end of races, has he, in terms of keeping his tyres in check?
No, very dependent on the circuit and how his setup seems to be with the speed-up Bosco chassis. It works at some tracks, and then others, you've seen him leading races and then drop back in the last third. But yeah, I guess today the Calex boys that are chasing him will be wanting the drop-off. In years gone by, the speed-up has always lasted to the end around here, so I think you can't really allow for that with Alonso Lopez.
So, coming on to this half of the race with 9 laps to go then here. Just taking a look at the screens. It's an interesting little race that's been bubbling. Acosta and Vietti have kept each other in sights throughout. They're both saving their tyres, though, through the end of this stint. So Acosta not going to get away with it just yet. There's Matteo Passini up in, with the track limits warning in 11th position as things stand. Joe Roberts P10, just taking a look as they run across the line. Ben Schneider, Garcia, Dixon, Aguirre, Ramirez, Boltus all coming through as well. Tony Arbolino in 5th position. We're looking back to his teammate Sam Lowe's. And I agree with what Gav said, Lowe's can smell the podium coming as well. And we've got a yellow flag at sector 1. Who's dropped down the timing order? Not as far as I can see at the moment, has gone down. Replay, oh hello. It's Fabian Aguirre. Aguirre's crashed out. Aguirre's crashed out in sector 1 and he's out of the race. So while we see a pointless replay of Acosta and Vietti, we need to be seeing what's happened to Femin Aguirre, who has retired on lap 15 of 22. We don't even know why he's retired. The TV pictures are not, there he is. Well, I think he's gone down in the gravel and he's trying to bump start the bike, but it's not going to work out on it. Let's take a look then. Oh, it's exit turn 2 and 3. The front just dips away from him and his hands up like, well, what's going on there? How did that happen? Sort of situation as well. So, disappointing as they come out of the last corner. And Vietti, amazingly, is still on the back of Pedro Acosta. Acosta set the middle sector time of 48.460. Last lap time for him was a 46.230. Vietti 146.173. So actually, oh, Vietti having another twitch coming out of 14. So Vietti now twitching on the bike as well. Oh, Lowe's is down. I've just seen it in Alborina's rear camera. Sam Lowe's has gone down. Middle of turn 2 and 3. Sam Lowe's has gone down. I just saw it. And that podium shot is now gone. He running in 6th position has thrown it away. Sam Lowe's crashes out at turn 1. I saw it in the little box camera of Tony Arbolino, the timing tower. And Arbolino has passed Manuel Gonzalez as well. There he is. Lowe's on exit of 1. The front dipping away from him. And Arbolino was right at the back of Gonzalez. That's why he made that position quite quickly. Oh! Sam just dropping it away mid-corner. And he's out of the San Marino Grand Prix. And he doesn't even know what happened there. And Acosta's put up 1.6 seconds to Vietti. Vietti's made a major mistake in that middle sector because Acosta was a 48.5, whereas Vietti was a 49.3. So there's a big problem for Vietti coming, as you can see on the Delta times.
Over 6 laps remaining. He has to get back to the Spaniard to pick up an important podium and try and keep his championship hopes alive.
Here's how we did it. Through turn 4.
See this overtake from Tony Arbolino. Not an easy one to pull off down into turn 4. But yeah, greatly done.
Great
nice
effort. Often there is again, you see that a lot, don't you? But fair play to Arbolino, toughing it out on the outside.
Tony wasn't going to give it up once he got his nose in front. Leaned in on top of Manuel Gonzalez, didn't give him a lot of room, so yeah, Manuel had to give up the spot.
At the front, those warnings for Celestino Vietti have meant he's just had to ease up his pace. Acosta, meanwhile, look at that. 36.4 on the last lap. That could well have broken Vietti.
What warnings? Vietti hasn't had any track limits warnings, according to my timing screen. We've had one for Pizzini, Lopez, Roberts. Boltus has just got one. And that's it. Nobody else has had one. Vietti has had no track limits warnings. What is he talking about? There's Boltus' track limits warning coming up now.
Well, Acosta here is recovering any ground that he might have lost to Dixon last time. He was already making points upon Arbolino, but his lead will go out to 34 with 8 remaining, 8 races to go. And so still a fair chunk of points available and up for grabs, still 200. But that 34 is a big margin. Firmino Aldeguer will be back.
That is Firmino Aldeguer out of the race.
The start of the Asian run. We go to India in a couple of weeks, straight to Japan then.
Sam's back, not happy.
Just trying to listen in, just so bad in the corner.
Yeah, so bad with the front, he said. So obviously not giving him the feeling he needed today. And unfortunately, it did let go on him in the end.
Always been very much a front-end heavy kind of rider as Sam, hasn't he?
Yeah, always deep in there on the brakes, pushes the front.
6 to go then.
So
5 to go.
Out to 2.4 seconds.
5 laps for me.
Pedro Acosta is going to be able to ease to the line on this one, still in the 36s. Only rider matching him though, Tony Arbolino in 4th. That's going to be the one to keep an eye on to see if Lopez can respond. Jake Dixon's just done a personal best lap of the race, but it's down in 13th. It is a day to forget for the Brits.
It's not happening for Jake. He's had more tastes
1:37.052
showing in this race all weekend, so sometimes happens. The lights go out, the bike doesn't feel the same. Can be tired, sometimes can be set up, can be wind change, but yeah, it's not quite there in terms of his rhythm.
And that's why Pedro Acosta, that's why, you know, he is leading the championship, because his consistency, isn't it, Michael? He's had those 4 wins, about to be 5th. He's had 8 podiums, about to be 9. And, you know, the other results, 12th when it rained in Argentina. That is his Achilles heel, which may be tested over the next few rounds. Perhaps not in India, but when we go to Japan or Thailand or Phillip Island, for example, and Indonesia. Think of all of those. Yeah. Every chance that, you know, something can happen in those. But apart from that, on a bad day, it was a 6th place last time, for example.
Yeah, but Pedro's a reasonably good wet weather rider, but Arbolino was an outstanding wet weather rider. We could get monsoons in Malaysia and Indonesia and Japan. We've seen it over the years. So, little twitch there from Alonso Lopez in turn 2. Yeah,
the pressure is starting to build in it again. Another little one with the front through turn 3 down towards Rio corner. Arbolino is hunting here.
Yeah, Arbolino wants 3rd.
I have to say that Lopez has responded to Arbolino's pressure. He was quicker than him by a couple of tenths on that last lap.
This would do Tony's confidence a world of good to stand back on the podium. Just answer the critics back. And we've been critical of him because he was so strong. His run of podiums from the end of last season into the start of this season, and his lead of the championship, his future was being touted as being MotoGP for 2024. And then all of a sudden it just went away and it slowly spiraled downhill, and he's on the upward climb now. He's getting it back on track and won't relinquish this championship fight without going all the way to the end of the season with Pedro Acosta, a tough challenger.
So 4 laps to go.
Interaction. These Triumph 765s get worked around here.
Replay. This is Lopez in 1. Front knee dipped away again, Michael. Really close.
Bumps.
Yeah, wow.
You can see the chatter, the tuck, similar to what caught out his teammate turn 2. Aldeguer ended up on the ground at a similar moment. But
true. Again, someone like Lopez, Vietti, we've seen with his moments, they are those taller riders, do have that extra little bit, don't they, of leverage, I suppose, when their knees are down. So we've seen them make their saves. Not like Sam Lowe's, who is much more diminutive.
Aguirre gets ahead of Gonzalez in turn 1.
Canet, for example.
Yeah, difficult to catch the front end. So when it goes, there's not many riders have been able to do it over the years, but the new school riding style, the body down off the bike, like we've seen actually originally from Marc Marquez, and all these Moto2 riders have adopted it. It does allow you to somehow save front end slides. I think in the past that never used to happen, but it is possible now with the new school riding style.
This is encouraging, isn't it, from Ayogura as he gets past Manuel Gonzalez. I thought we were about to see another 5th place for Gonzalez. He loves a 5th. He's won 3 or 4 of them this season. But Agura's relegated him back to 6th with 2.5 to go.
So Acosta leading the race still.
Out front, 2 seconds the gap. He's eased off here. With Vietti still in the 136s, Acosta back to a 37 for the first time in quite a number of laps.
Yeah, I think the gap's comfortable for him. He'll just control it.
Oh, Vietti nearly dropped it. Massive twitch from Vietti coming into turn 14. The front of that bike has not looked stable. The Fanatec really struggling out there with front end grip. Just massive twitch and nearly drops it. Thought he was going to drop it for a split second. 2 laps to go then here, and Vietti's shaking his head as he comes across the line. He knows more mistakes like that, he's not going to be able to catch Pietro Acosta. But Tony Arbolino in 4th, 8 tenths off the back of Alonso Lopez, might just be able to catch as they come through. It's going to be a very interesting race. End this. Fingers crossed that we're going to see Arbolino get into 3rd position and bring the title fight back down. But Acosta 37 up at the moment with 1.5 to go.
Difference in the different character that the Pirelli tyre has to the Dunlop.
Yeah, headline lap times sound like they were as quick, if not quicker, but race distance laps, that no one did a race distance, but you feel like they'll be much slower, don't you, in terms of their race time.
But if you're a Pirelli, you're going to bring something pretty fast, aren't you, that might not go race distance.
That's
first ever test.
I mean, that's part of it as well, I think. Jake Dixon has finally cleared Bo Bensteiner, but it's too little too late. He's down in 12th place. So he, Agura and Borja Gomez, only riders on the move on that last lap. A fairly steady Moto2 race here with 1.5 to go. Is there a chance for Arbolino? He's got that marker. He's within a second, and offer in this situation, you do feel like there is something to be, when you're within that second, that you can just close back that much, but I'm not sure it's going to happen for Arbolino here without a real risk.
No, but when you're within the 1 second window, and Alonso's had a couple of moments for the front end, we've seen at least one on camera, so he's going to be a little bit cautious, and Arbolino may get a sniff here on the final lap.
Chantra's on the back of Gonzalez.
Here, is it? Chantra 2, going into the races we're going to, Japan, Indonesia, these places where they performed well in the past.
Yeah, it's going to be very good for them as well as on to the last lap, but seriously, Gonzalez under pressure from Chantra here. Chantra might find a way through down towards turn number 1. Thinking about a move on the inside line. Oh, thinking about it. Nope. Can't get through. Salak has been given a track limits warning as well. So everybody having problems at the moment with the way this race is being finished under. Chantra's going through on the inside line at turn 4, gets ahead of Manuel Gonzalez. Gonzalez going to try and get the cut back on the inside line. He thought about it. Chantra's through. Up into 6th position. Gonzalez down to 7th. And I don't think Arbolino's going to catch Lopez. Pietro Acosta on course for his 8th Moto2 win. His 14th career win across Moto3 and Moto2. And Pietro Acosta, the star of 2020 in Moto3, now the star of 2023 in MotoGP, in Moto2. Can he then next year go to MotoGP on the KTMs? There's a lot of rumours going around. Remarkably consistent. 36.4s, 36.3, 36.2. He has, apart from that one when it was a 140, every single lap he's been consistent. Doing the 136s. It's been a remarkably controlled ride, over 5 seconds faster. Pietro Acosta dominates in Misano and wins in San Marino. Throws it out of the park. Giustino Vietti in second. third, Alonso Lopez. Tony Arbolino finishes in fourth. It's fifth for Ayagora. Songkran Chanchu is sixth. Manuel Gonzalez seventh. Joe Roberts is in eighth. Philip Salak ninth. Matteo Pezzini finishes in 10th. 11th for Sergio Garcia. Jake Dixon 12th. Bo Ben Schneider 13th. Marcos Ramirez 14th. Barry Boltis 15th for the last point. Alcoba 16th. Shura 17th. Gomez, Haddad, Shorten and Kelly, Nose the finishers. Not finishing. Tulovic, Guevara, Lowe's, Aguirre, Skinner, Canet, Foggia, Van der Goldsberg and Agus. But Pietro Acosta wins. Here, he now has a 34-point lead to Tony Arbolino in the championship, 211 to 177. A brilliant race from Pietro Acosta. Sheer brilliance here at Misano. Vietti second, Lopez third, but Pietro Acosta wins the Moto2 San Marino Grand Prix.